I'm Frank Trigg. This is MMA Oddsbreaker. That's Jason High. He just got done at the aquarium with his baby. Thanks for taking time on a Sunday to talk to us. Jason, what's new? What's going on with you?
Nothing, man. Same old. Training, kid, gym. That's about it.
How's the gym going?
It's going real well, man. I think we're looking to expand in this winter. Hopefully by the end of the year. So doing well.
Expand, what do you mean? Expand to a different building or expand, you gonna knock out a wall?
Now we're gonna move to a different building. We're completely outgrown this one. I mean, it's only about 3,000 square feet, so it's pretty small, you know. So
How many students you got right now?
somewhere around, probably around 50, something like that.
What's the ratio of pro to just regular Joe, as we like to call him?
Uh, I mean, way more regular Joes. I mean, you know, fighters don't make money for gyms, you know.
How
So,
these gyms stay open, catering only to professional fighters? I don't know how they do it because we got no money, we don't pay anything.
yeah, somebody's just pumping money into them, I think, you know, if that's the case, you know.
All right, let's go back for a minute and let's start off with the bad news first. Let's talk about Eric Silva and how that fight. He got caught with a reverse triangle the last time you were out, and that was back in June. What happened during that fight? You seemed a little bit off to me. I interviewed you before that fight. You seemed a little bit off when I got a hold of you down in Brazil. What went on during that competition? Was there something else going on outside of fighting that kind of set you off a little bit?
No, I've always felt like fighting is like kind of like a refuge for me. So uh, whatever's going on outside, you know, it's easy to forget about when I start training and fighting. But I kind of felt like I overdid it in camp a little bit, and I kind of felt like I did the same thing my first UFC fight when I fought Brenneman. Like I just kind of I was like, oh, I'm in the UFC, you know, so I just didn't just too much, you know. And then I got down there, you know, and I was just, it had been almost a year since I fought, and I was just really excited. So I think, I tell a lot of people this, like, for me personally, and everybody has a scale, you know, so yours is probably different than mine. Like, if one is like sleeping and 10 is like raging, about to kill somebody, I fight best at like a 5 or a 6, you know.
Okay.
So I'd say I was probably at an 8 or a 9 for that fight. I just came out too hot, you know, too excited. So, but I definitely think I can beat him. Like, I'd love to fight him again. But, you know, we'll see if it happens. If it doesn't, I won't lose any sleep over it.
You're getting ready to fight James Head, and it's a totally different. They're like two different styles altogether. I mean, it's not even a lot. It seems like a lot of times the UFC they keep giving guys the same type of guy over and over again. So like they keep winning or they keep losing, but it's because the same type of guy they're battling against. James Head's totally different than Eric Silva. It's a different guy altogether. What
Mm-hmm.
what problems does James Head promote for you as you're coming in to fight him that you really had to start working on? What are the things that he brings mainly to the table?
Well, the main thing is that he's number one. He's like kind of like one of those bulldozer types, you know. He just comes forward and he's really aggressive. But you know, he's as most people are at this weight class. He's taller than me, so that's one thing that you know I've gotten pretty used to actually. You know, fighting at 170, everybody's pretty much everybody's taller than me. I think I've only fought one guy that's maybe two guys that are my size or I'm taller than, you know. So he's got a good clinch, you know, throws a nice 1-2 straight. And that clinch is probably the main thing that, the main problem I see for me, you know. So he's tough. He's a tough guy. Yeah, I had to turn Jaden's TV down. She's not feeling it.
She's upset. What is she watching right now?
She's watching Super Y. I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, my
kids watch
kids.
that.
Yeah, my 4-year-old, my 2-year-old, they love it. It's Power Rangers first thing in the morning, kind of get them up and get them moving, and we move it on to Super Y, right into Arthur, right into Dora the Explorer. It's like it's like a cycle. Like they expect it to happen when it happens.
Yeah, all the same cartoons. She likes Super Y. Recently, I bought The Lion King off eBay, and she's been watching that. But I don't know. She got sick of that in the last couple of days because she hasn't been wanting to watch it.
That's
So,
good. You get
yeah,
tired of
no,
seeing the same thing 150 times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen The Lion King. And before that, it was over here. It was Aladdin. There was Hercules. I mean, just so many times.
Don't get her hooked on Mulan and Mulan 2, because my boys are hooked on Mulan and Mulan 2, so they keep repeating those two.
Well, she was watching Pocahontas. And Pocahontas too. She was liking that one. So I like to give her. I actually like, stories where the female is the main character, so
Yeah.
her,
Especially for her, my boys. I did the same thing. I did the same thing with my daughter when she was younger. She's now 12, so she has her own game now. But the younger ones, I try to keep them in as much stuff, like keep them occupied right now as much as I can. But everything is so male dominated that every now and again you got to give them a female dominated video, otherwise they're lost.
It's something you don't notice until you have a daughter, like it's really kind of it doesn't make me mad. It's just something that you don't notice. Like, you want her to grow up and think that she's got an equal stake in everything, so
yeah. So what's it like trying to balance your work schedule, your training schedule, the gym schedule, and her schedule? Like, how tough is that?
It's just, it is what it is now. I mean, I've kind of gotten used to it. I go to the gym usually. I get my workout in, and then I'll do a class. I'll run a class, and then have another workout somewhere in there, and run her around. I mean, her mom is like really, obviously she's wonderful. She's really helpful with everything. So it's, I don't have any complaints really.
Is it difficult being gone, especially like for a trip down to Brazil? You were gone for a good 7-8 days. Joining out for that fight. Is it hard being gone that long from the family? Does it wear on you come fight night?
Definitely. It's like, this time it's been a little different, but last time, for instance, I was in Florida for 4 weeks, and then I came back, and that time, I usually get to see her, before I leave for the fight. This time I didn't, or this past time I didn't. So it had been probably, 6 weeks before since I'd seen her. And, you got the FaceTime and all that stuff, but nothing's the same as getting to grab a hold of them, so.
Yeah, no.
That's the worst part. That's easily the worst part, so. But this time I got to see her, her mom was in Moscow for World Championship track and field. So she's with me, so I've been taking her everywhere, carting her around. It's been great, man. I was just talking with her mom how she's 4 right now, so she'll be going to preschool next year, and won't have as much time with her during the day,
Yeah, she'll be gone, which is the first couple of weeks is a good break because look, I got the whole morning now free, but then all of a sudden it kind of you're used to that pattern and she's not there anymore, so it's tough.
Yeah.
What events does her mom do in track and field?
Oh, her mom is retired, but
okay.
She used to run the 3,000 meter steeplechase. She's a former American record holder.
Oh, geez.
But she's retired. She does. She works with the track and field athletes union, and she's doing a bunch of big things over there, and she's doing a lot.
Well, that's a good segue to my next question. Let's talk about union. Her mom works in the union for track and field. Even track and field is an amateur sport, is individual, but they kind of figured it out. There needs to be a union in there someplace. What do you think is going to happen with MMA? Do you think there's ever going to be a union? And if so, when?
It's kind of one of those things that never happens like in the very beginning of the sport. And obviously we're pretty young as a sport, like
basically
10,
20 years, 25 years, yeah.
So, I don't know if it'll. Hopefully it needs to happen, but I don't think it'll happen in my fighting career time. I'll be retired maybe 5-6 years. I don't really see it happening at this point. We're nowhere close to anywhere in the vicinity of having any kind of organized union. So, is
there a need for it right now? Do you think?
Absolutely, especially with the UFC just monopolizing basically all. I mean, it's not a complete monopoly, but it's getting close to where they have a whole lot of leverage with everybody. So it's
well, look at their power. They forced Eddie Alvarez to have to go back to Bellator because Bellator decided they had to have a pay-per-view with him and Chandler to bring Alvarez back. They had to match that contract that the UFC had offered him. They're so powerful. The UFC is so powerful and so top of the dog. They're making other promotions change how they do business. Bellator was made as a free TV mindset, and now it has to go to pay-per-view. Well, the UFC has always been a pay-per-view mindset. It was always made to be paid for, and now they're giving us free stuff on the side like we had last night. But they're so powerful. Not a monopoly. They're not a monopoly, but they're so powerful. They're making the second group, Bellator, change how they do business.
Yeah, and I think that's like that's just a consequence of, you know, doing business and being like the major player in your field. You know, you're obviously gonna affect everybody. Like, you know, say McDonald's changes the way they sell hamburgers. You know, everybody's gonna have to follow suit, or, you know, get swallowed up by McDonald's. So that's just kind of, I think that's a consequence of business. But definitely, you know, you see it all over the place. You see them swallowing up other organizations, and you see them, you know, affecting everybody's business. You know, even as far as like the big thing now for us in the UFC, people under Zuffa, is like these sponsorship taxes are making it really difficult for us to make extra money. You know, so, you know, it's just something. It's like, as a business, you really can't fault the UFC for doing that. Like, you know, it's just.
I've always said I'm angry at them for the way they do business because I'm not a part of them.
Yeah,
but when I'm a part of them, I have zero complaint.
Yeah.
And that's the game. The top 3% in the UFC make all the money, and that's the way it is in these huge big companies. Your top execs make all the money, and the worker bees that do a lot of the work don't really make that much money. Financially, do you still need the gym to be able to make your day to day, or are you making enough from fighting now where you can actually give back to the gym to help for that expansion that's coming?
I think we covered this earlier, last time we talked. Like, the gym is not at the point where it's making a whole lot of money. So, you know, I'm still dependent on fighting, you know, which is okay with me. I like working for my money and fighting. You know, I really. Hold on, baby. I'm sorry.
I thought you were telling me to hold on, baby. I thought you were calling me baby.
No. What was the question? Sorry.
They're talking about the gym being able to function on its own and being able to fighting, trying to pay your bills.
The gym functions on its own. Like, we're doing pretty good, but, you know, obviously we'd like to be doing more. But, you know, fighting. Here, what?
I want super weight.
Come on and give me this.
It's the same conversation I have, except they go, "Daddy, it's over. Daddy, it's over," which means now I got to turn on the next one. Like, "Daddy, it's over." It's okay.
Like,
all right.
on Netflix, like, it'll just count down to start the next one. So.
Yep, Netflix and Hulu Plus, the best things you can ever have for kids.
Yeah, for sure.
So. Yeah, and I understand it's getting tough out there, and for an old guy like me, right at the end of my career, it was tough making money. I make more money doing interviews and commentating and analysis work than I ever did as a fighter. But then you get guys like Chael Sonnen, who fought last night, who make a lot of money fighting, but make just as much money commentating because they've got that marketing machine behind them. And then a new wave of the guy, Brian Stan and Kenny Florian included. Yeah. They're great at what they do, but they're also getting a large amount of money at it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Chael Sonnen fan, but I can't knock his hustle at all because he's doing. You know, as somebody said on Twitter last night, he's always got the next fight lined up. Like, he's calling somebody else out, talking shit, and he's ready to go. So now he's got Vanderlei and whoever pissed off at him.
Belfort, Vitor Belfort, and Vanderlei. He's got two in the hole.
He's got three. And Phil Davis, I said, was like, he's like standing up. He's like, I want to stand up for the nation of Brazil, and I'm like, you're American, bro. You know, so. I mean, that's 3 fights right there.
Yeah.
Know? And that's 3 fights that that Danny can sell, too. So,
yep.
I'm not a fan of that kind of, like, matchmaking, but can't knock Chael's hustle at all. So
he puts together well. Well, listen, Jace, thanks for coming on MMA Oddsbreaker. Good luck against James Head. Get back to your daughter. I know it's Super Wide time.
All right, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
You got it, bud. Talk to you soon.